Where are we?
This is Mark McNeese in New York City, and you're listening to Age to Perfection, where age is embraced and life is celebrated. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. This is Mark McNeese here. I'm in New York City, and tonight I have an author as our guest. It's Joe Cosentino. Hello, Joe. How are you?
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Now, for a little bit of context, I did a podcast a few months ago with your husband.
Yes, you did.
Fred Walensky, who is he does lots of things, but he's an audiobook producer and narrator, and that's how I met him, and that's how I ended up meeting you.
Right.
Through that extension. So we're going to talk about your books, but I'd like to get a little bit of background. Where are you, and a little bit about your life for people listening.
Sure. Well, I won't start at birth because that would probably bore everybody. But I'll start after college. I was an actor, a professional actor in the unions, and I did film, television, theater. I did a TV movie, My Mother Was Never a Kid, with Holland Taylor, and theater with Bruce Willis. I did A Midsummer Night's Dream with him. And with Nathan Lane, I did Roy the Grease Painter musical, and commercials with Jason Robards and Rosie O'Donnell, and did a Woody Allen movie, and was very happy as an actor. And then acting started to dry up a little bit, so I turned to playwriting, and I wrote some plays that were done off-Broadway and on tour, some children's theater things, and one of them actually is published. My dramatic version of Nutcracker and the Mouse King is published by Eldridge Plays and Musicals for release. Schools do it, and community groups do it. And then we moved up to the Poughkeepsie, New York area, and I got an MFA and a master's, and I became a college professor, and now I'm department head. And I have a beautiful study in my home. It's a real writer's study with a window seat and a fireplace and bookshelves and a big cherry wood desk. And I thought, this is a writer's place, and I should turn to writing novels. And I knew I was really good at dialogue writing, but I didn't know how good I would be at the description part. But I jumped in, and I've already written quite a number of novels, 2 published so far, but I have a whole bunch of other ones coming out soon. And ironically, my reviews for the book so far have been stellar.
Oh, good.
And one thing that they mention, they do like the dialogue. They say the dialogue's very funny and emotional and touching. And they like the plots. They say they're always surprised by the zigs and zags and surprised in the plots. But a number of people have mentioned that they really like the descriptive portions of the book, so I guess I did okay with that.
Well, that's good. Do you read reviews? Well, obviously you've read some, but do you have any sort of, what's your feeling about that?
You almost have to, because first of all, now everybody's a critic.
Yeah.
Especially my mother. My mother, who's 90, said to me when I decided to write books, she said, "Don't you have anything better to do than write books?" So I said, I wonder if Shakespeare's mother said that to him.
Yeah.
But everybody's a critic. I mean, if you go on Amazon, if you go on Goodreads, anybody who buys your books then posts a review immediately. And there's many, many bloggers and websites. That's all they do is they review books. So if you're on the internet, as everybody is nowadays, you almost can't help but reading what everybody thinks about everything.
Yeah.
Even on Facebook. I go on Facebook and people are posting what they think, and I also have a website, and in my books, in my bio, I've got my website address, so sometimes readers just will email me. And so far, I have to say, and it isn't just because I'm talking to you, but this is really true, all the feedback has been excellent so far. I've gotten only good feedback. So So far, I'm fine. When I get my first bad review, I'll probably be crying.
Do you have I'm going to ask you about audiobooks, but before that, just you mentioned Jason Robards, and this just popped into my head because I'm I'm 56, but it made me think of Colleen Dewhurst and Geraldine Page and these amazing stage actors that who are gone, and I'm not sure younger people, younger generation, is even aware of them. But just hearing Jason Robards' name brought that up for me because I remember him doing A Moon for the Misbegotten and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I know this
great.
is off track, but it just
Yeah.
it just came to me because I was in the theater back in Los Angeles. My last play was done at New Jersey Repertory Company, but 20 years ago, I just remember these people still being alive and still being amazing presences. So,
Yeah, which play did you do there?
I was a playwright then, and I was with a small theater company called Friends and Artists Theater Ensemble.
Hmm.
And then at New Jersey Rep, it was a play called oh my God, it's been 12 years. Oh, come on. This is horrible. This is an age thing. It's like, how can I not remember the name of my own play?
You'll
Till
think of
Morning
it.
Comes. It was called Till Morning Comes.
Okay.
Two-character play, and it was great. I loved it. I loved the experience, and I loved having there that I had no connection with the theater. I just submitted the play, and they really liked it, and they did it. But
Yeah.
it was also when I decided that I would prefer to go back to writing because I've been a writer most of my life, and I wanted to go back to just me and a keyboard because I'm not great at collaborating. I'm not crazy about it. I would rather just write fiction.
I
And
agree. I agree. That's the great thing about fiction writing is that you don't need a whole ensemble of people. You don't need a theater to say yes or no.
yeah,
You can just sit down and create. And to answer your question about Jason Robards, yes, I think he's an amazing actor. And where people may know him from is the movie Philadelphia, because he was a villain in that. Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and
oh
Denzel
yeah,
Washington.
yeah.
So people may remember him for that. But oh yeah, he's great. And a lot of people read my novels say, oh, they're very theatrical. They're so emotional and there's so many surprises and so much humor and drama. And I think it's because I started, as you did, as a playwright. And I think that really brings a whole other level to the novel writing, so it isn't dry and predictable and it's very dramatic because I'm very dramatic.
Well, and it does. When we work in a particular medium for a while, poetry is the same way. You develop an ear, unless you don't. I mean, there are people who just don't write good dialogue, but dialogue is. I remember reading it described as the illusion of conversation. I don't know if Tennessee Williams who said that. Somebody said that. It's dialogue is the illusion of conversation, and not everybody is as skilled as the next person at writing it.
Right, yes. Yeah, and I think that as playwrights, that probably helped us be good novelists because I've read a lot of novels where the dialogue is very stilted and it isn't the way people speak. It isn't clever. It isn't interesting to listen to. It doesn't make you see the person and see everything about them and feel them and hear them. Whereas with playwrights, I think we know how to do that.
Now, before I ask you about your books, I'm curious to know because you said you've gotten really good feedback. If you have any intention or desire of doing one of them as an audiobook, has that popped into your head at all?
Well, they're all with publishers. So the publishers, in my contract with the publishers decide if and when it goes to an audiobook.
Okay.
And they told me that it will be based on sales. So everybody hurry up and buy the, it was based on sales. Now they were just released. And Infatuation, my first novel, was released February 4th. And the second one, Paper Doll, it's for pre-order now. You can order it for pre-order. But it's actually released March 5th. So it's a little early to tell, but they said in about 3 months from now they'll let me know if the sales are good. They definitely want to do an audiobook.
Very good. Now, can you tell us about it on Infatuation?
Sure. And Infatuation is a novella published by Dreamspinner Press. It's called Bittersweet Dreams. That's the category of novella, meaning that it's very funny and romantic, but the ending has a sadness to it, which of course I won't give away. It's not. It's bittersweet. It's a sweet, sad kind of ending, a little unexpected. And it's about the lead character is based on me. The situation didn't happen to me, but he's based on me, Harold, who is very happily married to Stuart, also based on my spouse. And they've been together for 20 years. And he goes back in time and relays from his high school days to the present. And he was madly infatuated with this muscular, gorgeous, masculine football player in high school named Mario. And he didn't think he'd have a chance with him. And they have, however, because he's tutoring Mario, Mario's failing, and so Mario's protecting him and he's tutoring Mario. They form this intense friendship that really is really beautiful, funny, and beautiful to watch. And Harold doesn't think he would ever have a chance with him, but when it comes to their high school reunion, they meet up again 10 years later, and I won't give it away, but he might have a chance at Mario, but yet here he is so happily married to Stuart. So what does he do? Well, you got to read the book to find out.
Well, and what would you do? I wouldn't want to be in that predicament.
Yes, wouldn't that be something? The man of your dreams, your first love, who you never thought could happen, but here you are happily married, and what do they do if the opportunity really came to be? And it's handled very funny, but also there's a lot of very serious parts. And as I said, I hope everybody buys it. Right now, it's only an ebook sold on Dreamspinner Press's website or on Amazon.com. And again, if sales go well, in 3 months it'll go hopefully to a regular book, to a print book.
And what about? Because here I write mysteries, so I want to know. I want to hear about Paper Doll, a Jana Lane. By the way, one of the women I work for, I work in a very small office, and her name is Jana Lee. You don't meet too many Janas, so talk about Paper Doll, a Jana Lane mystery.
Yes. Well, this is a series that Whiskey Creek Press has put out, and this is the first one. I've written 3. And this is the very first one, and it also will just be an ebook, and then in 3 months, if sales go well, hopefully it'll go to a regular book and an audio book, hopefully, again, depending on sales. But this is a series. I have always loved the old child stars. So, for example, I'm sure you know all these people. Shirley Temple, Patty Duke, Haley Mills, all the Elizabeth Taylor. I just have marveled. Mickey Rooney, Roddy McDowell, how these people survived as child stars, many of them then to go on as adults to act as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always found it interesting. So this is a story. This takes place in 1980. And I use some current events in 1980 in the story, and fashion and music, and which is a lot of fun. So it takes place in 1980. And Jana Lane is like a Haley Mills. She's 38. She was the biggest child star ever. And as a child star, she had to learn how to do a lot of things for her movies, like ride a horse, or dive, or swim, or use karate, or whatever things in her movies. So she knows how to do all those things. But when she was 18, she was attacked on the studio lot, and it caused her to have a breakdown. And they never found her attacker, and she never knew who it was. But it upset her, and she eventually left at 18. She left the business. And so she's married now at 38 to her husband, and she's got 2 kids. She lives in a mansion upstate New York, and she starts to remember things and have dreams about what happened back then. And at the same time, as she's having these remembrances and flashbacks, she's getting attacked in the present. So her flashbacks from 1960, at the same time she's being attacked in 1980, and she's got to put it all together. So she's talking to her father, her sister, who were all around back then, her best friend. She goes to Hollywood to interview her old agent and director and producer and various people to try to put all this together. And at the same time, they offer her a comeback film. So she's in the process of doing a comeback film. And even though she's married, she finds herself falling for her young, gorgeous, masculine, muscular, handsome Italian producer, who also was around back then. So she's got a lot of dilemmas to work out, and each book is a totally separate story you can read individually, separately, where in the first book she solves this mystery, and then in the second book she does the comeback film and she solves yet another mystery, and in the third book she does another film and solves yet another mystery. So I was able to use my acting to put into the story. And again, I think it's very funny and romantic and mysterious, and I like a mystery where you don't just pick at the end somebody out of the hat who did it. That all the clues are carefully laid out. They're camouflaged, so maybe the reader doesn't necessarily see them, but all the clues are there, the red herrings are there, it all adds up, and in the end, you say, oh, of course, oh my goodness, how did I miss that? And so that's what I try to do, the old Agatha Christie way with the Jana Lane mysteries, the first one being Paper Doll.
There's a new Agatha Christie out, by the way. No, really, I'm reading it. It's called The Monogram Murders. It's not by Agatha Christie. It's by a woman that their estate chose to write a new Hercule Poirot novel.
Okay, great.
Now, are your books? You said you've got 3.
Mm-hmm.
Are they long?
Yes. Unlike An Infatuation, which is a novella, meaning half the size of a novel, this is a full novel. Each one is a full novel, a complete separate mystery story. And so the first one I've said is out now. The second one probably won't be out the earliest this summer. And then the third we'll see after that. I think the publisher will probably want about 6 months, I would think, in between the release of each one.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a question about your writing routine.
Mm-hmm.
I always ask writers this, being one myself. I've written in the early mornings for decades because I've always had a day job. And it's also when I have all my energy. My mind is just vibrant and firing at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. Do you have a routine?
I do, and it's a total opposite of yours. What I do is, because I'm a college professor, I teach during the day, and then I come home, I exercise, I eat dinner, I do any other little work I need to do, and I write every night from about 9 o'clock till midnight. And I know that's the opposite of most people, but I find that being a little tired frees my creativity, and it just flows, and it for some reason it really works for me.
Yeah, I know other people who are night people. I've never, because I'm just fried at the end of the day, and it's not even that I have that, my job's not very demanding, but my mind it's just not something I could ever do at night, but I know that there are people who do one or the other. And and it sounds like you also pretty much write at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
One thing for me is a sense of momentum and continuity. So that's another reason that I will pretty much write at the same time every day. I'm afraid that if I don't write for a few days, or if I maybe write in the afternoon, you know what I mean? If I turn it into more of a patchwork, it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah. It's good to have a schedule, so you know every night or day or whatever, this is when I'm going to write. And I think that's how come I'm able to write so much. People say to me, because I've only been writing novels for about a year or two, they say, how have you written all this? But I think it's because I'm very disciplined in that I write every night. And as I said, Infatuation, the gay romance novella, was my first, and then I wrote 2 more gay romance novellas that haven't been published yet, and then the 3 Jana Lane mysteries. The first is being published, and those are, Jana is straight, but her best friend is gay, her agent is gay, and the nanny, not the nanny, her favorite fan, her greatest fan is gay. So I am in all my writing always putting in a lot of gay political things and jabs and a lot of good things in there, because I really like the idea that one is for gay people, the other one is probably going to be read by straight people, but they're going to hear a lot about, just like in their real life they have gay friends and family members, they're going to, in the same way, be reading the supporting characters as gay and probably recognize their friends and family there. And if they don't know gay people, they will in the novel.
Will now. Now, it says Paper Doll is available for pre-order. Is it available on Amazon as a pre-order?
It is, yes. If they order it now, they'll get it March 5th.
So let people know, like, where to get the books, and if you have do you have a website?
I do have a website. My website is Joe Cosentino without a space. So it's JoeCosentino at Weebly, Weebly, Weebly.com. And so they can either go to my website and get the links there, or they can go right on Amazon.com, put in Paper Doll by Joe Cosentino or An Infatuation by Joe Cosentino, and they can get it right on Amazon. They can also go to the publishers, too. They can go to Dreamspinner Press, is the biggest publisher of gay romance novels. They can get it on The Infatuation on there, or Whiskey Creek Press, and they can get Paper Doll there. So whatever way they like.
Excellent. Well, Joe, it's been really good to talk to you. I'm glad that we connected, and I also I think very highly of Fred. He's such a nice guy.
Oh, great. Well, he had a great time with you, and hopefully one day he'll get to do my books as audiobooks. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be kind of, well, yeah, it could be a perfect collaboration.
And then I've got, the next time, hopefully we'll talk again, I can tell you about my gay series coming out. I have a gay, since you like mysteries, I have a gay mystery series coming out this summer by Lethe Press. And it, of all things, because I work there, takes place in the theater department of a college where college professors are getting murdered left and right, and the gay theater college professor has to solve the murders. And that's a whole series, the Nikki and Noah Murder Comedy Mystery Series, coming out this summer by Lethe Press. The first one is called Drama Queen. So we can. So that's not yet, but we can talk about that maybe in the future.
We should. I would definitely like to have you on again. I'm just going to lastly plug the Rainbow Book Fair, since we've been talking about books. I don't know if you've been there.
Yes.
I'll be there in. It's in April. I'll have a table. Last year I was a sponsor. But it's a lot cheaper just to get a table. So this year I'm just getting a table. But if you happen to be there, I'll be there. It's a really good experience. You meet lots of authors and people who like to read books, and it's really a fun thing to do for the day.
Yes, definitely. Good. Well, hopefully we'll get to meet there in person.
Okay. Have a good night. Say hello to Fred for me, and I will get this link to you as soon as I get it up.
Great. Thanks so much.
Yep.
Take care.
Bye.